and welcome to this prenatal yoga class. I would recommend this for second or third trimester, especially if you're somebody that is used to moving and you've done yoga before, but it is gentle enough for anybody to try out. So we're going to start in a cross-legged seat. You can have one leg in front of the other or take more of a lotus variation. I'm sitting on a block just because it feels nicer to have the belly open, the front of the hips tilted forward, and your spine in a natural shape. So you can bring your hands onto your thighs or onto your knees, open the palms, and then let's just take a moment to observe the breath. While you're breathing completely, relax your inner thighs and your hips. Release any tension around your organs, around your belly and your baby. Relax the tiny muscles between your ribs. And release any tension in your shoulders. Release your lower jaw. Start to increase your breath. Bigger breath in. And a sigh out. Bring both hands onto your belly, onto your baby. And just take a big breath into that space. And then bring one hand to your heart. Big breath in. Both hands to your heart. From here you can bring your fingertips to the mat next to the body, grounding down through both hands, gently pressing through fingers and becoming heavy in your pelvis and your sit bones, finding balance. And then on your next inhale, bring the arms up above your head, breathing in through your nose. Connect your palms, and then exhale, draw a straight line down to your heart, maybe tap for a moment on the forehead. Right, we'll do two more, fingers to the mat. Big breath in, inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose, straight line. Coming down to the heart. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Here this time bring your arms up on your inhale with your palms together. Inhale. And exhale, open the palms, flex your wrists. Big circle around the body, fingers to the mat, hands to the heart. Breathe in when you're ready, arms go up. Flex the wrists, exhale. Last one. Inhale, rising. And exhale, all the way down. This time bring your left hand towards the mat and lift up through your right arm. Lengthen through the right side. Soften the neck. Good. Coming back. Bring the right hand to the mat as you rise up through the left arm. Turn your palm to face the right. And then create all that space on the left side of the body. Bring both arms all the way up, palms facing each other but not touching. And then just find a little bit more space on the sides of your body as you reach up a little more. Bring the hands down to the front of your knees or shins, and then just let the spine round a little bit like a seated cat stretch. Slide your hands up your thighs, seated cow stretch. Just lift your chest and draw the shoulders back. Slide the hands forward onto the front of the knees, seated cat stretch. And all the way forward, lift your chest. Draw the elbows and the shoulders back. Good. Then find your neutral spine. Bring your hands onto your shoulders. Gently push the shoulders down, away from your ears. Maybe move the neck a little bit. And from here, little circles with your elbows coming forward, up and around and back. Good. Big breaths. And going from back to front. Good. Release that. Take the block out from underneath you if you have one. And you're going to go onto your hands and knees. So slowly rolling maybe forward over your shins. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and really spread your fingers out. And you can tuck all 10 toes under, and then just push your hips back while looking forward between your thumbs, keeping the pelvis and the spine fairly neutral. Rocking a little bit forward and backwards. Then take this into a subtle cat stretch. So see when you do your cat stretch that you're not fully flexing. It's a soft one. Tailbone slightly tucked. Chin tucked and relaxing the head. Then lift your tailbone, drop the belly, and just look forward towards the front of your mat. Stay really gentle and soft in this front opening. And then come back into cat stretch. And into cow stretch, looking forward. And back to cat stretch. Find your neutral spine. In neutral, you can choose to tuck or point your toes. Can you isolate movement in your pelvis? So we're going to tilt the pelvis, tuck it towards the body, and lift, and tuck, and lift. And option to move circular as well, tiny little movements in the pelvic bowl, so looking for isolation in the pelvis. And then include some of the lower back into the movement as well. The space around the belly button. Then include some of the ribs, the rib cage. Then include the shoulder blades and the shoulders. Make the movement a little bit bigger, but take it where it just feels right in your body. From here, bring your spine back to neutral and bring the knees as wide as the mat, the big toes together. And then take a child's pose of your preference. So for me, I prefer now to keep my hands on the mat and my chest lifted. gently pushing through the hips. If you still feel comfortable going further down, maybe take elbows or maybe go all the way flat onto the belly. You can move the wrists a little bit. Big breaths, long exhales. So whenever you feel like you want to move the body a little bit, then keep moving. So even when you're breathing, there should be something happening in the body. You should feel some movement when you inhale, you should feel some movement when you exhale. So let there be a bit of a flow in your body. Just allow it. Okay, we're going to slowly come up onto the hands, one hand at a time. Bring the knees a little closer together, coming back onto hands and knees. Downward facing dog, so you spread your fingers out, really active hands. Tuck the toes and lift your hips. Good, now in your downward facing dog again, bring movement where the movement is wanted. So feel into the body, what the body wants, give it that. You can also be really soft around your knees. And when you feel like you've moved enough and you just want to hold steady, then find a spot that just feels balanced and easy to hold. And bring your awareness back to your breath. Slowly start to walk your feet a little wider, maybe as wide as the mat. Also walk it up towards your hands and your hands towards your feet. So you'll just kind of bring them towards each other here. And then from here, bend your knees as much as you need to. Lengthen your spine as you bring your hands onto your knees or thighs. And then on your exhale, grab the elbows and take a wide-legged forward fold. Option to move around as much as you'd like here, keeping the knees bent. And bring your fingers to the mat. Lengthen your spine as you bend your knees. Then let the heels come in towards each other as you drop your hips into a bit of a squat. Almost like a malasana, but you don't have to keep both feet grounded. You can move through it, roll over the toes. And also if you feel like you need to open the upper back, then just draw the shoulder blade to the spine. Moving into the hips a little bit. Come back out in reverse, so fingers to the mat. Then as you lift your hips, spin your heels out so you're in a wide forward fold again. Maybe get in a little bit of a stretch in the back of the legs if you want to lengthen, stretch your knees out. Good, and then we'll take downward facing dog again, walking hands a bit forward, legs a bit back. Good, find that length and that space in the body. You can bring your feet about shoulder width or hip width apart, go up on the toes and softly bring the knees to the mat. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. From here, right leg will go straight back, push back through the heel, and then bring the weight forward into your hands. Bring the leg around the side and place your right foot in line with your right hip and your left knee. Okay, so we're just gonna see if you can get the pinky edge of your right foot to firmly ground on the mat. And then if you feel like you want a bit more stretch, walk your hips back a little and maybe forward and backwards. So again, the movement is always optional and it's more intuitive than anything else. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to bring the right foot to the right hand. It goes on the mat, just on the inside of the mat, so it's still nice and wide. And then you can adjust your back knee if you want to, just find a deeper stretch here. You can bring the hands under the shoulders and let the right knee fall out a little bit. But find a balance between fully falling into a stretch and finding some activation. So you want to maybe drag the right heel back a little bit, squeeze your left glute. So find some strength around your hips as well. Bring the left hand right underneath your left shoulder. Maybe point your back toes for the back knee. And then let the right toes curl off of the mat and the knee just open. So the hand can go onto the knee and the shoulder can pull back. Soften around your abdomen, around the belly. And we bring the right hand back to the floor. Good. We're going to pull the hips back and take the right leg back, almost in reverse, like a bit of a soft drag back. And then place the toes right back behind you again. You're going to bring the weight into the hands, lift your back foot. Keep your hips square as you bring your right foot to the outside of your left hip. And then push the ball of the foot back. Option to just stay here looking between the thumbs, or if you feel like you can take the stretch in the belly, look over left shoulder. And you're slightly wrapping the right outer hip down to the floor. Good. Bring the right leg back behind you. And the right knee to the right hand. So we'll take a pigeon stretch. The right shin is diagonally across the mat, and you can slide onto the back thigh. Now, option to stay here on the hands or bring the elbows down, depending on how much space you still have left here in front of the belly. You can keep moving a little gentle rock side to side. Let's take 3 big breaths in this shape. Bring your hands back on the mat. Tuck the back toes and then take a downward facing dog. So maybe just get the knee back. Take your time, downward facing dog, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And you can soften into the knees now after your pigeon. Okay, we will lift up onto the toes, let the knees come to the mat. The left foot can go straight back. With the toes on the floor, push through the heel. Then slide the left leg all the way over to the side in line with your left hip. Ground the outer edge of your foot. and then rock forward and backwards. So you'll notice that tucking the toes or pointing the toes changes how the knee joint feels on the mat. So you can choose which one feels best for you. Okay. When you're ready, the left foot goes towards the left hand. And then you can sink nice and deep into this stretch. Hands under the shoulders. Let the left knee kind of soften out to the side a bit, but ground your heel. Squeeze your right glute and find some stability and strength around your hips. Okay, bring the right hand really directly under the shoulder, maybe point your right toes. Let the left toes curl off of the mat so that the knee can open and the left hand can take the left knee or left thigh. And just let it open a little bit more as you soften your belly. Draw the left shoulder blade slightly back. And release. Pull the hips back. And then very slowly drag that left leg back, nice and relaxed. Place the left toes back behind you on the floor. Bring the weight forward into your hands, lift the left foot, and then bring it across over to the right. The ball of the foot firmly grounds as you push through the heel. Option to look between your thumbs or look over your right shoulder. Kind of wrap that outer left hip down to the floor. And left foot back behind you. Left knee to pigeon stretch, maybe go onto the fingers. Knee to left hand, heel to right hip or thigh. Sliding back onto the right leg. Good option to stay high. Also, both hips or both sides might feel different. So if on the other side you had your elbows on the floor, but on this side, you want to keep the hands on the mat, then do that. I'll take 2 more big breaths. Okay, bring your hands onto the mat. Tuck your back toes. Very slowly take it back to downward facing dog. Maybe first on the knees. Downward facing. When you breathe, allow movement in the body. Okay, we're going to walk the feet wide again. Walk the hands to the feet and the feet to the hands, bend in the knees. So you're really softly, slowly just making your way up with your elbows onto your thighs. And then you can bring your hands together if you want. Drop your hips a little lower. Keep firmly pushing into the feet and the knees out. And then lift the hips a little higher. And then drop the hips a little lower. And lift. So a few rounds of these. From here, lift the hips like halfway, hands to the thighs, walk the hands up, bend. big roll with your shoulders all the way back and down. Take a few of them. Maybe even move your wrists if you feel like it. And then go in the other direction. Good. From here, I'm going to step my left foot to the front of the mat and my right foot into a warrior one. So the right toes are going to point up to the top of the mat. Little bend in the front knee. What you're really looking for is balance around your pelvis, your pelvic bowl, so that the spine feels natural, neutral. Hands can come to your heart. Just make sure the legs are strong, but you're not forcing anything in the front of your body. From warrior one, step right foot to the top of the mat. And then we'll step left foot back, warrior one. Then the front knee. So as soon as I feel like the front of my pelvis wants to tilt forward and my bum wants to go back, then I start adjusting my legs a bit. Because you want to feel quite parallel or neutral in the hips with your spine lengthened. Okay, when you're ready, step left foot to the top of the mat. Step right foot further back this time, maybe on the toes, shuffle, shuffle. And then you can go high up onto the back toes with your right arm reaching. And then open it out for warrior two. Left toes pointing forward. Back foot lines up with the short end of your mat. And then just gaze softly over your left fingers. Again, you feel neutral in your pelvis, spine. Pressing through your left heel. Okay, you're going to bring your left arm over your right arm as you reshuffle your legs into a horse stance. Left arm over right, hugging your chest. Kind of searching for your shoulder blades on your back. Good. You can just stay here, allow your hips to be heavy. Toes, knees, and hips pointing in line. Good. Then release the arms. Pull the elbows slightly back. Place your hands on your thighs. Good. Then maybe you can sink a little deeper. So find your stretch, but find a little bit of strength in that stretch. So drawing up from pelvic floor, maybe rocking side to side. Good. When you're ready, coming up, straighten the legs. Good. Now spin your heels out. Toes slightly more in than the heels, and then ground the outer edges of your feet while lengthening the inner legs. You can pull the hips back. Keep the spine nice and long as the fingers come down. Stay maybe here with your spine lengthened or fold all the way down. Your hands can go wherever you feel. And now keep the focus on strengthening through the outer lines, drawing up from the inner arches of your feet. Going on to fingertips, lengthen your spine on your inhale. On your exhale, bend your front knee, your left knee. Walk towards it as you walk your hands on the inside of the left foot back into a lunge with your left foot wide. Take a downward facing dog. You can either drop your knees first or go straight into down dog. Big breath and a big sigh out. Okay, walk the hands to the feet to the hands, nice and wide. Bringing elbows to thighs. Lengthen your spine. Hands to legs, walking up. Good. Couple of loops with the shoulders. Forward and backwards. And when you're ready, walk to the top of your mat. Left foot will step far back this time. Feel like you want to wiggle the foot back. The left arm can go up a little bit. Open, warrior 2. Extend your arms, bend your front knee. Pressing down into your right heel. This time your right arm is going to come over your left arm as you reshuffle your feet around to find a horse stance. Toes out, knees out, right arm over left, hugging your chest, looking for the shoulder blades. Good. Maybe moving side to side. And slowly release the arms. Open and let them fall down towards your thighs. Hands to thighs, lock them out. Lock out the elbows. And then maybe sink deeper. Your pelvis is heavy. But draw up from the pelvic floor as you kind of search your knees from side to side. Okay. Hips in the middle, straight legs, spin your toes slightly in and your heels slightly out. Bring them somewhere you feel really strong in the legs, and then slowly pull the hips back as you fold all the way forward again. Hands can go wherever you feel like. Maybe you want to pull the body underneath. Be gentle. And just keep the strength in the legs. Slowly come up onto fingers. Lengthen your spine as you bend your front knee, your right knee. Start to spin your toes forward, walking the right foot nice and wide. Go to downward facing dog. Option to drop the knee, slide the other knee back, and then lift. From down dog, high onto your toes, drop your knees to the floor. Good. Sit back for a moment. Spin your legs to one side, your bum to the floor, and your feet in front of you. I'm going to bring the feet nice and wide as the mat. And then drop your left knee to your right heel, and your right knee out. Right. Relaxing a little bit as you pull your left shoulder back. Okay, lift your left knee, come through center. Drop your right knee towards your left heel, left knee towards the mat. Maybe adjust the hands if you feel like it, and then just lean back a little until you find a soft stretch. your right knee up, left knee up. Bring your feet towards each other, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Go up onto the fingertips maybe. And then if you want to stay here, it's good enough. Relax your hips, or maybe you want to push the hips closer to the knees. Just find a good sensation, good stretch, reaching the knees down towards the floor. Softly opening, relaxing the belly. Optional to walk the hands to the front of your feet or around your feet. And stay here. Neutral. Bring the right hand behind you, so you can bring your left knee right on top of your right knee. If you want to stack the knees right on top of each other, stack your feet, and then just come into this little bit of a side body stretch. Maybe even the outer hip a little bit. Good. Release that, bring the soles of the feet together again. Start in the middle. Then bring your right knee right on top of your left knee. Stack your feet. Left hand underneath your left shoulder. Maybe give yourself a little massage around your hip and your thigh. Good. Come back through center, open the knees for a moment just to find the balance, and then bring your feet back onto the floor. Okay, from here you can lengthen your left leg forward, right foot against inner left thigh, right knee out. Good. You can stay here, curl the left toes up, or fingertips to the mat, lengthen your spine. If you walk forward, you'll feel a bit of a stretch in the left leg. Also, if you feel like you need more space, the left leg can go a little wider, and you can walk your hands in between the two legs, between the two knees. See if you can stay on the front of your sit bones while lengthening your chest, reaching forward. Okay, we're gonna come up. Bring the left leg back in line with your hip if it wasn't there. Bring the right ankle just on the other side of your left thigh, so like a figure four in a seat. Gentle massage here. And then you have the option to stay here, maybe massage your own foot here on the right foot, or slide the knee to stack over the other knee. Interlace your hands here over your knee and just take a seat here. So looking for a very, very soft stretch, maybe outer right hip, maybe back left leg. That left foot will come in and right leg will go forward. If you need more space, right leg goes a little wider and your fingers are on the mat. You're still long in your spine, and it's just the pelvis that has a bit of a tilt. Look for a subtle stretch, soft. right leg back in line with your right hip, left ankle just on the other side of your right thigh. Maybe hold the toes, massage the foot here, massage the left leg. You can stay here if this feels good, or bring the leg all the way over, stack your knees a little bit and interlace, and kind of hold yourself up here with your hands on your knees. Okay, you can release that and help the leg come back. Then open the legs wide into straddle. Toes can point up. It can be as wide as you are comfortable. First, walk forward onto the fingers, but keep the spine long and everything open in the front. It's like the pelvis just does the little tilt. Good, then walk your hands a little bit towards the left, not too much. Through center, a little bit to right. Through center. Maybe more forward, checking in, make sure it still feels good in your body, then walk back up. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, maybe cup the hands, and then just reach your hands towards your left foot. Straighten the arms, don't go too far. Bring it all the way over to the right. Bring your hands back to your chest. Pull the chest into the body a little bit. And then go forward again towards the left, right, and back. Now hold here. Go to the right, to the left. Come back. Allow this movement to be quite small. Just one more, reaching over it. And coming back. Good, take the back of your knees, pull them towards each other nice and slow. Bring your feet on the mat, your hands behind you, as much space as you need. And then eventually feet comes together. You're gonna let the knees fall to the left, stack your hips on top of each other again, and then simply slide. So as you are there, slide onto the left elbow or the left side of your body. Maybe support the head with your arm. And just take a moment here on your side. So if you feel like staying here for much longer than me, then feel welcome to stay here and then close your practice on your own time. Or you can use your right hand to push yourself back up. Right hand, left hand. Take a cross-legged seat again. Maybe choose your non-habitual side. And just come to the seat that you started with. Hands to belly, big breath in. One hand on baby, one hand on heart, big breath. Both hands to heart, big breath in. You can thank yourself for showing up for yourself, for making the time to connect with your body, with your baby. Bow your head to your heart. I thank you. Namaste.